Hey everyone, this is PM Sport Talk, the father and son duo podcast. I'm your host Preston, alongside my father Mike and Dad. How are we doing today?
Hey, what a great weekend of football. The last great one in my opinion. Some great games to get into. Let's go.
So this weekend we got into the divisional round of the NFL playoffs. So we will be going over those games, kind of recapping them and stating our thoughts. Then we'll go over our conference championship games to set up the exciting week of Super Bowl weekend. Can't wait for that. But let's get into the games we saw this weekend before we get into any of that. So, our first game we saw on Saturday was Kansas City versus Houston. Kansas City gets the win, and they will be hosting the AFC Championship game next weekend. And before you say anything, Dad, oh my gosh, I am upset, I am livid, and I am tired. I am tired of these refs. I mean, it's quite obvious. Even Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, the announcers for this game, they are getting sick of it. Everybody is tired of the Chiefs and Mahomes. So if you didn't watch this game, I'm sure most of America did, but if you didn't watch this game, Patrick Mahomes slides down and two Texans players practically collide into each other, not even touching Mahomes, and Mahomes gets a late hit, 15 yards, going the other way. Henry To'oTo'o got called for it, and in the middle of the announcement of the penalty, Joe Buck, you could hear him. He tried to stay quiet, but you could hear him. He was like, oh my gosh, are we kidding? And Troy Aikman was like, I disagree with the call. It's been going on way too long. Everybody is tired of the Chiefs. And then later on in that game, Patrick Mahomes is about in the red zone, just barely in the red zone, and he is near the sidelines, and he's still in bounds. He gets a light shove by a Texans defensive player, and he's like, I'm going to try to do it again. The most obvious flop I have ever seen in my life. He throws his body up, falls down, tries to get a penalty. Oh my gosh, it's ridiculous, and I am absolutely through and sick and tired of these Chiefs and them getting every single call. It's ruining football. The NFL should be embarrassed. Anybody involved with Kansas City, fans, analysts, players, coaches, they should all be ashamed and embarrassed.
Yeah, that's a great opening monologue on your part right there. That was sums it up perfectly. I'm to the point now where I just laugh at it. I don't even want to get mad anymore because it's comical now. You mentioned those two, but what you forgot to mention was the very first one, where the
roughing the passer,
where it looks like it could be helmet to helmet, but it wasn't. And the rules guy that all these like ABC, ESPN, all that have on their broadcast, that when they go to him for calls like this, even he's like, I can see why there might have been, why people might think that, but I did not see enough there for a penalty. That should not have been called. Troy Aikman was like, I didn't see much there either. And then the two that you mentioned come after that. And that one would have been a 4th down and punt. Instead, the Chiefs go down and get 3 points. The other one that you mentioned, they get a touchdown out of it. So that's 10 points right there. 10 of their, what'd they score? 23 points. That's 10 of their 23. Right there, directly contributed to roughing the passer penalties. And that flop that you talked about that didn't get called, that makes a mockery of when quarterbacks are going out of bounds like that, at least up until now, it was always like they try to get out of bounds and the player lets up. The defensive player lets up. But Mahomes purposely slows down and just kind of trots along the sideline and kind of leans backwards into the player. That's two things. One, he's trying to flop to get a penalty. Another thing is he's making a mockery of the refs, because they're trying to protect quarterbacks. And when you start doing that stuff, then the ref's not going to know, and the defensive player's not going to know, is he letting up or is he not? Because it's kind of one of those unwritten rules where the quarterback is letting up and you just let him go out of bounds. Well, when you do stuff like that, you deserve to get popped now.
Yeah.
You deserve to get absolutely destroyed the next time you go along the sideline. And I hope somebody does it. I mean, because he deserves that now. When doing something like that, he deserves to get lit up like nobody's business. And, it's just unreal.
An interesting thing I took from after the game, Joe Mixon, Will Anderson, D'Amico Ryans, and I'm sure many other people involved with the Texans, they all went to the media and they were like, well, coming into this game, we're not surprised because we knew it was going to be us versus everybody. We all know what they meant there. But what also happened after that is Jalen Watson, a cornerback from the Chiefs, went on the media and said, what happened to taking losses like grown men? I guess we're past that now. It's a new era. I'm like, when I saw that, my mind went back. Buddy, weren't you on the team last year when you played the Buffalo Bills and they called it offensive offsides and Mahomes went up to Josh Allen, the other quarterback from the other team, and started complaining to him? He was crying. He was whining. He was acting like he was going to go fight the officials. But that's not complaining, right? But it's only when people complain when the Chiefs gets the calls. When the Chiefs get the calls, everyone's like, stop complaining. We all know what's going to happen. Take your losses. But when your guy does it, whenever the refs don't want to be on his side for once in their lives, that's when he wants to start whining, complaining, acting like it's, oh my gosh, it's the end of the world. Come on, give me a break. The NFL is a joke now. And I'm going to say this before it even happens, if it happens. If the Chiefs get a three-peat this year, it's the most forced thing in sports history. The most forced thing in sports history with these refs.
It doesn't look good. For all those conspiracy theorists out there, I mean, it does not look good. Whether the refs are trying to do this or not, they are. And it's just, I don't see other teams getting these calls. So nobody gets calls like this. Nobody gets protected like Mahomes. We used to always think that Brady got protected a lot, and he did. But it wasn't to this extreme. This has gone up way above and beyond what Brady used to get. Mm-hmm. I mean, he got hit a lot of times and there was no penalties. Mahomes, if he gets hit at all, it's an automatic flag. Doesn't matter if he gets close to getting hit, it's an automatic flag. That's got to change because it's the integrity of the game. I wouldn't think that the NFL, Roger Goodell, and all those guys would want all these football fans thinking to themselves and saying on social media, boy, it sure looks like they favor the Chiefs. The Chiefs are getting favored again so they can three-peat. Is that what you want people saying about your league? I wouldn't think so. You better talk to these refs in that championship game, because if there's any controversial calls that go Kansas City's way, that's all it's gonna overshadow the game. That's all people are going to be talking about the next day. They're not going to be talking about the Chiefs won or whatever. They're going to be talking about the calls that they got. So pray to God if you're involved in the NFL that doesn't happen.
And honestly, it could ruin their viewership. I mean, I'm so serious. I know everybody loves watching the NFL, and it's one of the best sports in America. But if this keeps going on, how much time are you going to dedicate your time out of your day to go watch your team fight and work for their wins just for the same result every year because it's so forced? Like, oh my goodness, it's ridiculous. And I'm not surprised. I'm just tired of it. That's all. I'm just tired of it.
Mahomes doesn't need help. He's the best quarterback in the league. He doesn't need the help. Stop that. Treat him like any other quarterback. Treat him like the third-string quarterback on the New York Jets. Treat him that way. He does not need the help. That's all I got to say about that. As far as the rest of that game goes, the Chiefs. Look at the stats in that game.
Texans
dominated the stats. They dominated the time of possession. They dominated the yards. They didn't turn the ball over. and yet they still lost.
Yeah, I don't want to have this all be about Mahomes because that's obviously what the NFL wants. But I want to talk about C.J. Stroud for a second. I mean, early in the game, he was dealing with knee problems, and he was still putting his body on the line. He was constantly running. He wasn't sliding to avoid getting hit. He was fighting for those extra yards, and that's the quarterback I love to watch. He kind of reminds me of the stuff you see out of like Matthew Stafford or Justin Herbert. They take hits no matter how bad or bruised their body is.
He played a very good game against a very good defense. So, yeah, hats off to them. Listen, if those penalties weren't called, do we know that the Texans would have won? No, we don't.
It's so
but we want to know. We want that opportunity, and when there's calls like that, it leaves everything in doubt.
If you're D'Amico Ryans, it's so hard to get on your team or focus on what we could do better next time. When you're facing a team that's gonna get every single call that they can possibly get, that the officials can possibly have the position to take the flag out of their pocket and throw. It's ridiculous, but I love the way Houston just fought. I mean, they had kicking problems. Obviously, that played a big role as well. Fairbairn, I don't know why Ryans is sending him out for a 55-yarder when there's like very bad winds. I didn't agree with that. Some of the kicks you got to make though. He missed He missed the extra point. He missed a 30-yarder, I think. And then the last one got blocked, but it came out funny. Like we were watching it came out really low.
It was very low. He had a bad day.
Yeah.
But that 55-yarder should not have been attempted.
Yeah.
That should have been a punt. Because you gave Kansas City a short field there. So, but Texans played a good game though, other than their kicking game.
Yeah.
They did what they could do, and it's just a shame that those calls were made, and so
they will definitely be back next year. I can say that almost 100% confidently.
That defense is really good.
Yes.
Yeah, so.
I love what they were doing with that defense, and Ryans is a defensive-minded coach, so
yeah, makes perfect sense.
Yeah. So moving on here to our next game, we're going to go Rams in Philadelphia, which took place on Sunday. This one, with about 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter, looked done, looked dead. And the more you talk about him, Dad, the more you talk about Matthew Stafford, the more I see how right you are about him. He is a great quarterback. Obviously, he can't really move that much around the pocket. He struggles with that. But it's the heart. It doesn't matter how down they are on the scoreboard. Doesn't matter what the situation is. He goes out there, fights, and makes big throws. And I'm not gonna lie, on that last drive, I thought they were about to just storm right down the field and shock Philadelphia.
I did too. That game looked like it was theirs. When Barkley scored that long touchdown to go up 28-15 or whatever it was, a little over 4 minutes to go, I said to you, I'm like, this is over. But that, because I just didn't think that was possible.
Tirico thought as well. He said this might send them to the championship game.
I really didn't think that. I thought that was the death blow, dagger, whatever. But Stafford took him right down the field, like a minute and a half, right into the end zone, making throw after throw after throw. That guy is phenomenal. I've told you this all season. I told you this last year. I take him on my team any day. Unbelievable guts. He's constantly getting hit, gets right back up, goes right to it. Yeah, he had a fumble yesterday, but geez, he's got the heart. And if it wasn't for Jalen Carter playing the way he did against a rookie center there the last few plays, they were going to score, and they were going to put the Eagles out, and that would have been an upset of upsets. I mean, geez.
Yeah. So the controversy at the end, though, the last play on fourth down, Stafford, it was way out of Nakua's reach, but McVay thought, and the whole Rams team thought, and maybe Collinsworth I think, thought that there should have been a late hit penalty on Matthew Stafford after the 4th down play, and the Rams should have kept going.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't really focus on that much.
Yeah, NBC, I think with how much the Rams were complaining about it, they did a terrible job showing what exactly they were complaining about.
I mean, they showed the one replay, but they didn't really mention it that much. So I was like, this is really the first I've heard of it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So, but either way, I mean, he played great. I mean, the Eagles got bailed out. Hurts did not play a great game. He got hurt. I'd be a little worried about him going forward with his health and just his. He just hasn't looked good all season.
Yeah.
And now running is a big part of his game. And if he can't run, it's yesterday they couldn't do the tush push. No. They did it one time, I think, but once he got hurt on that safety, they didn't do it again. And there were times they could have done it. And that's a big deal going forward.
Right. So, not really much to take away. Just a great game from Saquon Barkley. He's been the heart and soul of the Eagles all year long, and they take this game 28-22 to go to the conference championship game. And we will head over to their opponent's matchup, the Washington Commanders versus the Detroit Lions. Dad, you want to repeat? You want to repeat what I said last week? Just for everyone here?
No, you go ahead.
I told everyone that you do not doubt the Washington Commanders. Everyone thought, this is Detroit's time. This is Detroit's time. They're going to make the city of Detroit happy. But there's a man in Washington. It's Jayden Daniels, and he played great. And let me tell you, that defense stepped up big time. They let up 31 points, but you look at the turnovers. They forced 3 interceptions on Goff. They forced some fumbles. Great day for if you're a Washington fan. This is the first NFC Championship game in 33 years that the Commanders are advancing to.
Yeah, this is the shocker of the weekend for me and for most people, I think. Did not see this coming at all. I did not think that Washington's defense would be able to do that to Detroit at all. 5 turnovers, like you said. Goff played a bad game. He played a good game. He played a bad. I mean, he made some good plays, but then he had those turnovers, and those turnovers came at bad times in the end zone, get in the red zone. I mean, and they could not overcome it. Every time you thought that Detroit was going to get right back into it, he threw a pick.
The first half offense in this game, if you watched, we do plays of the week at the end. The whole first half of this game could be our plays of the week segment today. That's how much scoring there was in this ball game, and I mean, what a great game. Definitely a shocker for most people. I got to tell you, I was not shocked at all. Was not shocked at all.
I'm not surprised that Jayden Daniels played good, but I just did not think that their defense would hold up against Detroit. I guess, I don't want to make excuses, but I think all those injuries on defense finally did them in.
Yeah.
15 guys on IR, I believe, from that defense, and their top cover corner, got hurt, in the second, third, fifth play of this game?
Yeah.
Right away. And if you don't tell me that wasn't a big difference, that was.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, their secondary. Then they had Brian Branch got hurt in the game. He was in and out, and I don't understand how a team can have so many injuries in their secondary in 1 year. Every game I watched of Detroit's this year, there's 2 and 3 guys in that secondary that get hurt. Sometimes they come back, but they're always getting hurt.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy. And the combination of that defense, all the injuries, and Goff having one of his off games did them in. And, of course, you got to give it to Jayden Daniels. He played great, poised. Like you said, he's unflappable. Nothing bothers him. He's as calm. That stadium could be falling down and he'd be sitting there calm as could be. That's just his demeanor, and on the field, you can see it. He's just calm as can be. He's looking for his receivers. Doesn't matter what's going on, and what else can you say? He played a great game. I think it's going to be a little different this coming weekend, but we'll get into that after. But great win for them, and to me, I feel bad for Detroit. This was their year. It makes you wonder. I know the window's not closed for them, but they're going to lose both their coordinators probably. They already lost one. Makes you wonder how good is that offense going to be as good without Ben Johnson? Probably not. So it makes you wonder if this was the year for them. And then they still got talent. All those guys on defense are going to come back next year. So you would think they'd be better that on defense, maybe not quite as good on offense, so maybe they'll be a better team overall. But it's really disappointing. A team that's never won the Super Bowl, never been in the Super Bowl. You thought this was their year, and wasn't to be.
If you look at the stat sheet, though, let's go to passing. It makes you wonder if Ben Johnson got a little too risky, a little too tricky in this game.
Absolutely.
You go up to passing real quick on the stats. There's 4 different people who attempted a pass. Goff attempted 40. Bridgewater came in because Goff got hurt for a couple of plays. But you look at 2 that stand out. David Montgomery, a tailback, and Jamison Williams, a wide receiver. And that Jamison Williams interception, that was fourth quarter, down by 14. Very dumb.
That was dumb. I did not understand that at all. I'm glad you brought that up because I forgot about it. One of the dumbest plays. I mean, I don't know if they were had a chance to get back in there or not, but that didn't help. Why you would have Jamison Williams throwing a pass? You didn't. It's not like you weren't moving the ball. You were moving the ball the whole game. It's just that you were throwing interceptions at bad times. So it made no sense to do a trick play like that. None whatsoever. And one other thing that I forgot, on that pick 6 that Goff threw, he got absolutely demolished on the block.
Yeah.
And he had, like I said, he had to go out, is in concussion, had to get checked for a concussion and all that. Who knows what kind of effect that had on him because he got really rocked.
Yeah.
If it wasn't a playoff game, I don't know if he would have been back in there, but I don't know. But so
that was a big hit.
Who knows what kind of effect that had, but that was as a result of him throwing an interception. So.
I think you're giving the Lions too much. I mean, you're taking away from the Commanders' win a little much.
Well,
the injuries I get, but you can't. You're trying to find every little thing to feel bad for them, and I'm just gonna stop you right there and say, yeah, it gets to a point. I'll just say that.
No, you can't make excuses. Hey, this is a team they rolled in there with. I mean, they just beat Minnesota with this exact same team. So, yeah, no. But I'm just saying, to me, they got to 15-2 or 15-1 with all those injuries, and I think it was because the offense was so good and played so good every single game. But if that offense has a bad game like they did,
yeah,
because that defense was just a shell of itself, and it was a perfect storm, and that was the end of their season. Not trying to take anything away from Jayden Daniels. He played great. Their offense played great. Their defense got turnovers. I mean, it's not like their defense was great, though. They gave up over 500 yards of offense.
Yeah.
But they made the turnovers. If you look at every single game that we're talking about this weekend, except for the Kansas City game where there was no turnovers, the team that turned the ball over the most lost.
Yeah.
And the team in all 4 games that had the most yards lost because of the turnovers. So, hey, congratulations to Washington. You predicted it. Good on you. I hope they go in and beat Philadelphia. We'll talk about that later. But hey.
We're not going off this just yet. I didn't give you a heads up, but I got a trivia for you.
Oh, okay. Let's hear it.
So, Jayden Daniels, as we mentioned, led the Commanders to their first NFC Championship game in over 3 decades. Daniels, as a rookie quarterback, joins 5 other rookie quarterbacks in NFL history to lead their teams to a conference championship game. Can you name them?
Well, one's Ben Roethlisberger.
Yep, there's one.
Dan Marino.
This latest one. The latest one is 1999.
Rookie quarterbacks to go to the championship game.
Mm-hmm.
Was Mark Sanchez a rookie quarterback?
Yes, there's two.
You said the earliest was 99?
Mm-hmm. Actually, I'll give you a hint. The most recent one, 2022.
A championship game.
Mm-hmm.
Mahomes is one.
Nope.
Oh, that's right. It wasn't his rookie year.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was his first year playing. But 2022. Jeez, no. I'm stumped. I should know that, but was 2022, wasn't that Burrow wasn't a rookie. So it wasn't him. AFC or NFC?
NFC.
2022. I should know this, right?
Maybe.
God. Nah, you're gonna have to give it to me. I can't. I'm drawing a blank.
All right. So the first one for the Bucks in 1999, Sean King.
Yeah, would have never got that.
Ravens in 2008, Joe Flacco. And then 2022, Brock Purdy.
Ah, jeez. How did I forget Brock?
Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant.
That's why I forgot him. Yeah, no. That's a good list.
Yeah, and actually, one more thing. Joe Flacco, right? In the 2008 season where he made it to the conference championship game, Daniels beat the number 1 seed Detroit, and Flacco is the only other rookie quarterback to beat a number 1 seed in the playoffs.
Yeah, he beat Manning and the Broncos.
He beat the Titans. That's who it was.
Oh, the Titans were the 1 seed.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't he beat Manning too, though?
Yeah. So Flacco had a very successful rookie season as well. But if Daniels makes it to the Super Bowl, I think best rookie quarterback season ever.
Yeah, he's had a phenomenal season. I hope he does it because I can't root for Philly, but yeah, we'll see.
So our last game to go over is Buffalo and Baltimore. So this game, the Bills dominated most of it, but the Ravens had that little fighting chance at the end. So Allen and the Bills were like at the 1-yard line, 3rd and goal, and they try to do a QB keeper with Allen because he's a big body and that usually works for them. But the Bills saw something that they haven't seen in a very long time. The Ravens' front 7 shut down Josh Allen at the goal line. So McDermott's like, hey, if that didn't work there, I'm not confident it will work again here on 4th down. He sends Bass out to kick 3. That put the Bills up 27-19. So that would be an 8-point lead. And eventually, the Ravens led a very long drive. They scored with about a minute 30 remaining in the game. And obviously, Harbaugh and the Ravens have to go for 2. And Jackson rolls out, throws it to Andrews, and he drops it. And that's how the Ravens season comes to an end, and that's how the Bills earn the rematch with KC.
Yeah, everybody thought that was going to be a tie game. Could not believe he dropped it. We were kind of like, we couldn't really see it at the first camera angle.
Yeah.
When the play was going on, but because even I don't know if it was Nance or Roman. One of those guys thought he had caught it, and then the other one says no, he didn't catch it. And yeah, crazy. I feel bad for Andrews. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
He's one of the few guys on that team that I kind of like. But that's the same 2-point conversion play they run a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And they've had some not so much success with that play. A play that seems like Andrews is almost always open on, but for some reason, the ball gets tipped or he drops it.
Or comes out funny, whatever.
Comes out funny. Lamar short arms it or whatever. But
that's what they go to. The Ravens, on their 2-point tries, they rely on the rollout with Lamar Because if you see, as soon as he snaps that ball, he's rolling. Yep. He's not even thinking about it, rolling out. Because Lamar is unique. He can run the ball and throw the ball. So he was trying to attract the defense to the run so he could do a quick flip to Andrews.
Right.
But the thing is, the Ravens run that on like a lot of their 2-point conversion plays. So I don't know. It's just, it was bad too. Like, they had a bunch of turnovers.
Hey,
I'm not gonna blame it all on Andrews. He doesn't deserve that. It was not all on him. Lamar Jackson, he had an early interception where I just still don't know where he was throwing it.
I have no idea what he was doing. The first half, he was the old playoff Lamar, fumbling. He fumbled the ball once. He threw the interception.
I just hope Lamar doesn't get this treatment. Like, he played a big part in why they lost that game as well, because he fumbled too, which almost went for 6, but I think the Bills ended up scoring anyway. And then Andrews fumbled at midfield, which was a big play. But Lamar turned the ball over a lot, so I am not blaming this all on Andrews. It was a turnover fest for the Ravens, and when even those early turnovers, those first quarter turnovers, those come back to bite you usually at the end.
Hey, Andrews had a horrible game when it comes to that.
Yeah.
I mean, he turned the ball over. He dropped the ball wide open. That the next play is where Lamar ended up fumbling.
Yeah.
Then he had the ball punched out there at midfield there when they were getting ready to come down. That was a huge play because when that third quarter started, Baltimore was taking it to Buffalo. They were the better team. And then that turnover, turned everything around. What was the score? It was like, was it 21-19, right? They got to 21-19, and then they turned the ball over, that punch out from Bernard there.
Yeah.
And that changed the momentum a little bit. Buffalo went down, got 2 field goals to get to 27. But, geez, Baltimore was taking it to them. I disagree with you a little bit when you said that Buffalo was controlling it. They did in the first half for most of it.
First half.
But you look at those stats.
Oh, man. Yeah, Josh Allen didn't have a great game.
They could not stop. Derrick Henry was starting to roll a little bit.
Yep.
I really think, obviously, if not for those turnovers, that Baltimore wins that game. But turnovers is part of football. So, and that game being in Buffalo was huge too. Fans were crazy there. Great atmosphere, the snow, the weather. It all plays into it for Buffalo. They did. One thing I would be a little bit. The only thing I would say is maybe Buffalo played a little conservative because they got ahead. They weren't pushing it as much as they usually would. Maybe it's because of the weather. They didn't want to take chances, give Baltimore a short field or something. I don't know. But if that game goes to overtime, Baltimore would have had all the momentum. I mean, you don't know what's going to happen. With a field like that, it could have been more turnovers. Who knows? But I think it's a good thing for Buffalo that they didn't get that 2-point conversion. Of course, there would have been a lot of time left for Allen to go down and score too. But Buffalo's offense wasn't doing a whole lot in the second half. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Buffalo got the win. They did what they had to get the win, but it was a little, I don't know. I just hope they play better than that next week against Kansas City.
Yeah, they definitely need to play a lot more better, and they're probably going to be going against everybody just like Houston did. So there's that. Big win for Buffalo. They needed that. This is a huge year for them. A lot of fans think this is their year that they can make the Super Bowl. So we will see next week. But we got to take a break from NFL because today, as this is being recorded, Monday, January 20th, is the national championship for college football. Ohio State and Notre Dame taking place later tonight. And it's a big game. I'm probably going to be up all night watching it. So,
yeah, huge game. Smart money is on Ohio State. They're the better team. They have better defense. They have the better offense. They have the better receivers. Running backs are probably give the edge to Notre Dame just a slightly. Defensive line, Ohio State, I give them the edge there.
Mm-hmm.
Quarterback, I give them a slight edge. Not much, slight edge. But we all know when you get into games like this, sometimes that doesn't matter because crazy things can happen. Turnovers, like we saw in the NFL all weekend, turnovers plays a huge thing. If both teams take care of the ball and all that, I think Ohio State wins this game. But turnovers just throws a monkey wrench into everything, and you just never know. I think Ohio State wins it. I think they win it by like 10 points. I think it's close, but then they pull away in the fourth quarter by 10. But you just never know. I would not be shocked at all if Notre Dame won. But I think Ohio State is the better team, and I would expect them to be raising up that trophy the other night.
Taking my Buckeyes in this game by at least 2 scores. Don't want to get too cocky, because if I say that they're going to go in Atlanta and absolutely demolish Notre Dame, then it's going to be the exact opposite. We're going to get demolished by Notre Dame. But I do feel confidently they can win by 2 scores, but I'm not taking any credit against Coach Freeman, against Notre Dame. That they have a great defense, I'll tell you that. Their offense is a little bit shaky, but if they can get their run game going, I think we have a championship game to have our sights set on, because this could be a close game if both offenses click how they've been clicking the past couple of games. So I'm still taking Ohio State by 10, but can't get too cocky. We'll see what happens later tonight.
Let me put it this way. I could see Ohio State winning in a blowout. I can't see Notre Dame winning in the blowout.
Okay.
So if Notre Dame wins, it's going to be close. Ohio State could blow them out. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
okay. So that makes me lean more to Ohio State. But like you said, you just never know.
First play of the week coming from Eagles and Rams. Barkley makes his move. Barkley is past the Rams defense. Dashing in the snow. Barkley, touchdown, Eagles. Coming from Commanders and Lions. Screen pass. Terry McLaurin breaking free. Got Kirby Joseph to beat. Stiff arms Joseph. Flying into the end zone. Touchdown.
What a play. You see how he just broke free through those 2 defenders, splits the middle, and now he's gone.
Wow. McLaurin, one of the more underrated receivers in the league. Surprised ya. We've got a basketball play. Coming from Grizzlies and Spurs. Whistle blows. Morant dunks on Wembanyama. I know this was after the whistle, but the talk around the league is, when is somebody going to dunk on Victor Wembanyama? And John Morant just did the unthinkable.
What's John Morant, like 6'2"?
Yeah, something like that. Dunking on a 7'4" demigod from France. Coming from Lions and Commanders again, Goff. Looking to make something happen for the Lions. Goff throwing. It's sailed. It is picked off. Quan Martin of the Commanders. Still going. Martin. And Luvu lights up Goff for the touchdown. Quan Martin.
What a play, and Goff gets lit up.
Another basketball play coming from college basketball. Minnesota versus Michigan. Dawson Garcia shoots from the logo and drills it for the win against Michigan at the buzzer in overtime.
A little March Madness in January.
Coming early from the top of the M. Wow. Dad, you see anybody casually pulling up from the M to win the game in college usually?
Yeah, not too often. He acted like he's done it before.
Coming from Chiefs and Texans, Patrick Mahomes. It's 3rd and goal here. Texans looking to get a huge stop and force 3. Mahomes, he's feeling pressure, steps up, falling throw, wide open. Travis Kelce for the touchdown. Last one coming from Bills and Ravens. Allen running bulldozes through for the touchdown.
Seen that before, haven't we?
The big 6'5" build of Josh Allen plowing through for the touchdown. Wow. Can we see some of this against the Chiefs front seven?
Hope so.
Well, that is the end of today's podcast, but we got two things before we go. Dad, who was your biggest performer and biggest disappointer of this week?
My biggest disappointment is Jared Goff. 4 interceptions. I think he had a fumble, too. One of his worst games of the season. Unfortunately, picked a bad time for it. Now Detroit's out. My biggest performer of the weekend, it's got to be, for me, Saquon Barkley. He had almost 200 yards rushing against the Rams. If not for him, they lose that game because Hurts didn't do anything. Mm-hmm. He couldn't pass the ball. He's the reason they won that game, along with the offensive line, of course. But his home run ability got them that win. Saquon Barkley.
For me, my biggest disappointer's got to be the Ravens, and specifics, Mark Andrews. Just a bad game. He's usually one of the better tight ends in the league, but just had a bad game, and like you said, bad time for it. So Mark Andrews, biggest disappointer, and my biggest top performer, it's going to be Jayden Daniels. It was either Daniels or Barkley. You take Barkley, I'll take Daniels. Rookie quarterback coming in there, no interceptions thrown, almost 300 yards passing against the Lions, and leads them to their first NFC Championship game in over 30 years. He's got my vote. And now let's do some predictions for the Conference Championship games. Who you got in the AFC?
I'm going Bills. I think it's their time. Chiefs have skated through all these games all season. Skated through another one this weekend with the refs and all that. I just think that it might be the Bills' time. I'm going to say Buffalo and a nail-biter again. Probably like a 24-21 or 27-24 score. I got the Bills against the Chiefs in Arrowhead. As far as the NFC goes, I got Philadelphia. I think that defense is too much. They're very familiar with Jayden Daniels. This will be the third time they played him. They beat him once. He beat them once. I think another close game. I don't know what the weather's going to be in Philly. I'm assuming it's not going to be snowing, but who knows? I think the run game, I think Hurts bounces back. Those receivers for Philadelphia had a bad game. I think they bounce back. Defense gets after Daniels. I got Philadelphia 21, Commanders 16.
In the AFC, for me, I'm going with the Buffalo Bills, the hometown team of upstate New York. Like you said, it's their time. It's got to be their time. And I'm just sick of the Chiefs. I really
can't pick the Chiefs.
I know you can't. I'm not the biggest fan of Buffalo's fans, but I want them to win this game. I don't want Mahomes' face anywhere near the Super Bowl trophy this year. And then the NFC, I'm going to have to disagree with you. I think the Commanders, their mindset is going to put aside their previous games with the Philadelphia Eagles. They're just focusing on one game at a time, and with Hurts not being 100% healthy coming into this game most likely, if they shut down Barkley, could be a Commanders Super Bowl run. So, Bills, Commanders, Super Bowl for me. Bills, Eagles, Super Bowl for you. Either one of those would be great games. Hopefully one of them can happen.
Absolutely. I think any one of those combinations is good as long as there's no Kansas City Chiefs involved.
Yeah. Well, that is the end of today's podcast. Once again, I'm Preston with my father, Mike, and we will see you guys next week with hopefully some good news about the Super Bowl. See you later.